views that you're looking for, and then maybe an audience who'd be willing to go visit and see some of your other material. Santiago, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea what this account's about. Like, I looked at a couple of posts and I'm like, what's going on here? There's memes, there's reacts, there's TikTok effects. We don't know, right? So I try to get a little bit clearer in terms of communicating to people what it's about. If you're gonna go down that route, you're gonna need to be posting like 3 times more. You're gonna need to really work on your lighting and setting because people are big about that. Mikey, fantastic content here, amazing. I can't draw like this, right? It seems as though the stuff that people really like about your content is how to draw with pen, right? How to make things smooth, the tutorial aspect of things, right? If you wanted to get more views on your content, I would try to look at trending topics, trending things that are happening, right? Can you make a drawing of Kendrick punching Drake, with ballpoint pen, right? Or even more mundane, can you make a drawing of Simba from The Lion King, right? Something people are already familiar with. That's a really easy, low-hanging fruit way to get more views on your content. Ferrotero. First issue, you wait for 2 seconds to begin talking. People are gone. They feel like that you don't know what you're doing if you wait for a second before, for the music to start, before you start talking. Just trim that out, all right? Second thing, your lighting's not good. It looks like you should wipe your camera off before you start filming. Focus really hard on the lighting, right? I have like 3 different lights on in this scenario just for this right now. And then the last thing is, if you really want to do well, find content that's doing well inside of your niche, tarot niche, and replicate it, right? Put your own twist on it, your own spin on it, right? But make sure that every idea you're doing is in some way a semblance of a content idea that's already done well, right? You're not a celebrity, so people aren't going to recognize you just putting out cold or lukewarm takes and things like that, right? You got to put a little bit more effort into what you're trying to do. Austin! Wait, bro doesn't even follow me. Should I give him a review? I'll do it anyways. If you watch the first 5 seconds of every single one of your videos, you'll know exactly why they're not doing well. It's because we don't know what's in it for us, right? You started off with a lukewarm take. That's kind of a theme of this video, right? My dad was doing this, or I was thinking about that, right? And since we don't know who you are, we scroll. That type of content works for like Noah Schnapp, okay? I would get right into the meat of whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? If you have $1 million idea, right? Start the video off with the $1 million idea, right? Kitten chariot festivals, right? And then you and then you make a content idea off of that. Don't just don't make a slow burn to get to the value, because we don't know you and we don't know that you'll fulfill on the value. All right, Forever Player Made. The first thing I notice about your content is that it doesn't seem to have an overall value prop for the viewer. It seems as though you are posting as if it is an Instagram account with video, and that doesn't work on TikTok, because on TikTok nobody knows who we are, right? On Instagram it works because we've got family members, we've got friends, people who are interested. On TikTok, people don't know who we are. They scroll if there's no immediate apparent value. So if you're going to try to make videos like these ones, you're going to want to really focus hard on the quality, on the lighting, on the implementation of the idea, making sure that everything looks absolutely fantastic, and model your ideas off of content ideas that have already done well previously. Blue the Coop, couple things. First of all, if you're going to make edits, make sure that they are color graded, okay? Make them look nice, make them look fancy, make all of them kind of look the same. Second, if you're going to do slides like these, start them off with a title slide, right? Top 10 cars that do X, Y, and Z, right? Or me when I feel like doing X, Y, and Z, right? Even those small changes can make your videos do way better. Tribal yoga. If you're going to try to make aesthetic clips with some sort of aesthetic sound behind it, me doing my yoga and stuff, it has to look really, really good. You got to have the color grading. You got to have good lighting. You have to be really hyper obsessive about it, okay? And then the second thing I'll say, adding captions on top of these sorts of things, like decided to take a rest day or something like that, can really up the engagement of your posts. Alice in Wonderland. Same thing as the previous musician. It seems as though every single post you're just spamming your song with it and hoping that the algorithm picks it up someday, right? Introduce yourself as an artist to the community and start actually making some art. I would recommend, right? Make content where people can see that you're a personality that they can interact with, and you're someone who is worth supporting, not just someone who's trying to use TikTok and leverage it to get their music out there, right? Second thing I would say, if you're going to put your music inside of a video, try starting it off in the middle or somewhere instead of making us have to listen to get to the point where the song gets really good. Richie Neutron. First of all, your whole page looks like a product mockups page. It looks like somewhere we would go if we were already interested in your products. It doesn't actually look like a page that is designed to make us interested in your products, right? So if you could talk more about the history behind each piece, talk more about who you are as a business owner, why'd you start, look up Lucas Pachter, aka Squid House, on TikTok, because he does a really great job of incorporating clothing with a personal brand, and he makes a lot of sales. Also, don't do the AI voice, Rose Water, before you start talking. And don't use any other caption except for the TikTok classic caption. All right, Neo Nate Noir. First thing I would say is looking at your content, give us more of how to do this, how to make your own Letterman jacket, right? Summer outfits, things that we can see that are like, this is something that I can use and apply to myself. Second thing I'll say is that this sort of overlay fashion where you're doing edited stuff that looks really nice, it works well on Instagram. Unfortunately, TikTok users want to feel like when they came to the platform, the thing was made on the platform. It's low effort, your personality just hanging out, chilling here. And so you don't want to be try-harding too much on TikTok. If you want a profile review, don't comment. I'm coming out with a group called Creators. I'm going to be doing profile reviews for people inside of that group, so wait for that to drop. The people have had enough. Blockout 2024 is a movement where people are actively blocking celebrities on their social media accounts. Lately, I promise this is related, people have been talking about how salaries have gotten low, how it's hard to find jobs, and how nobody's hiring anymore, even though they say they are. More and more people are starting to believe that it's just not worth it anymore to go to college for the job market we have to be competing in. There have also been things like streaming services bundling back together to bring cable 2.0, but I think the thing that's really been sending everyone is the Met Gala. This creator, Haley Bailey, made a video that seemed really tone deaf. You can find this video on her account. I don't know if it's still up. Essentially, she's saying let them eat cake in the video. It's a trending sound or whatever. Anyways, her video gets 20 million views. And I would show you here, but I just checked. She took the video down. The comment section is flooded with people who are just not happy, calling her tone deaf, telling her that she's essentially making fun of the class of people who literally can't pay their bill. She made an apology video stating she didn't go to the Met, she didn't pay for the dress, she didn't pay $50,000 for a ticket, and the comments were overwhelmingly negative. People even seemed like they were comparing her to some of the elites in the Hunger Games. Society and our school systems were designed to turn children of millionaires into billionaires. Our society isn't designed to do is to turn average people into millionaires, although it is the easiest society to become a millionaire in. And this is why I like to think about creating content as a way to make sure that you have connections, a way to make sure that you stand out, and a way to make sure that you're never out of money, no matter what you do. More importantly, I think the strength of content lies in giving people the ability to say things loudly. If you want to be heard, creating content is the way to do it, and you don't have to be incredibly rich. You don't have to be a celebrity. You just have to be able to put together good content. I think content has become a way for the average person, middle class, wherever you are, to be able to communicate to the elites in a way that actually touches them and can potentially hurt them. The government's forcing you to delete TikTok from your phone. Say goodbye to your followers, your favorite creators, your freedom of speech, because earlier today, the Senate passed the TikTok ban bill. Biden said he'd sign it into legislation tomorrow, and when this happens, ByteDance will have 9 months or a year to sell TikTok. It's funny because this bill was presented as a foreign aid bill for Ukraine that happened to contain the forced sale of TikTok. But don't panic, there's actually a lot of things that can happen before a ban. First, ByteDance